Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas. I wanted to talk about the recent article that has came out about the GoFundMe in which Brian Colfage had started. He is a veteran amputee, and the passion and the support that so many people poured in on this particular GoFund campaign. Now, I am going to state, first of all, number one, these are my thoughts, these are my opinions, and this is based on a little bit of my research. Number two, this video is not, I'm not a person that pacifies anything with anyone. So, with that being said, I am talking today, real quick, about the good and the bad about this GoFundMe campaign. Let's talk about the good. First of all, to you, Brian Colfage, I commend you. Thank you, my phenomenal brother, for stepping the plate to start this. I'm sure other people have thought about it. I kind of threw around the idea, but you took the initiative, and I want to thank you. And because of that passion, and because you stand by your reasoning, your vision of that, as a result, many people, such as myself, have supported this GoFundMe. Now, here are some issues that I had. I remember before I donated, somebody was advertising the GoFundMe page. I asked the question, was it legal? Was it in the guidelines within the Constitution? I was told that Trump lawyers and everybody in it and that everything is legit and everything's fine. I do not ask questions just to ask them. And I'll explain later on what I mean by that. Now, there's a situation which I already knew is about to spew over in terms of this GoFundMe account. Let's talk number one. When you have a GoFundMe account and it's dealing with the government, especially on a federal level, you have to first of all read the fine print in terms of gifts, because sometimes in certain wording that gifts cannot be designated after a certain amount, and that certain politicians and leaders cannot accept gifts. There was a big if you remember, in a couple of months ago with Bill Clinton, he was accepting, there was him accepting gifts, and there was questions about that. So the Constitution and the laws and gifts, because that is a form of a gift, are very specific. Number two, here's the problem. This is the bad of it. When we went through this, and I was told that the Trump lawyers had this, what I was concerned with, number one, was, well, where did we get this information from? I trusted, just like you, being passionate, when I know it goes against the very fabric of who Elaine is. I'm going to tell you that right now. It goes against the very thinking of where I am. Because before I participate in anything, I love to research it, because a lot of times what we have is sometimes a lot of hearsay and miscommunication, okay? My concern with this one was that we have within our party competent lawyers, we have congressmen, representatives, and leaders. All of us, this thing became huge on media and on the news. Why wasn't there a task force or a committee to make sure something was in writing or in place so that these monies could be used? So I'm going to give you an example. And again, this is my opinion on it. Number one, you get some congressman and you say, okay, this is what I want to, this is what we want to do. We the people, we want to fund this money. We want to put this money into this. What can we do? What are the processes? You got people that are experts in this area. Maybe the congressman, whoever you chosen, could have wrote a bill to pass to say something that word the fact that we could give these monies to specifically the wall. But a congressman stated the other day that the money that was received, either they're gonna refund it back to everybody, or they are the money has to be put in a general fund. So my feeling about this is, and I'm gonna be point blank like I tell everybody else, is that the money that you and I sent was intended for what? The wall. Tell me the solutions on how we can get that money to the wall, for the wall. And if there is not any solution, if there is a situation where we cannot get that money based on the Constitution, based on the laws and rules and regulations already set place, because there was no bill proposed, there was no type of written documentation set forth or proposal, then it has to be the option. If you're going to refund the money back, and then some of this I've been hearing saying that, well, we're going to refund the money and then some of the money is going to go into different funding. You can't do that. You can't take people money and just put it somewhere without acknowledging and letting them know. You can't do that. I don't care what anybody say, you just can't do it. There has to be some type of disclosure, and there has to be some type of choice made if that person wants to utilize that money for that area. So this is my suggestion. Okay, we came up with the GoFundMe. Brian came up with the GoFundMe. Now the money has we've raised millions on it. What is the written strategy? What things can we file? What documentation can be sent and gone through the proper channels for that money to be utilized for the wall? Look, guys, I'm just going to be 100% with you. Passion is one thing, but when you don't do things the right way, there are snares. And it can cause people to be discouraged. It could cause people to get frustrated, and it could cause people to be manipulated into all kind of things, such as somebody can write a fake news article or go around and say, oh, most people didn't want the wall. That's fake news. But because we're caught up and we're upset at the way this is going, it can discourage you. I am saying to you right now, do not be discouraged. We know that the voice of the people and the voice of Americans are out there that want this wall, and we all want it for different reasons, but most of the time they're on the same page. We got that. We know that people are willing to sacrifice out of daily necessity or certain things that they were maybe putting that money towards something else, but their passion for the wall was more important. That's good. Now, number two, we got to be smart about it. We need to get individuals that have expertise in law, regulation. We need to get congressmen, Republican congressmen that are going to support that type of funding and see if they can present a bill or present something. Look, I'm not an expert in this, but I do know that if a law is in existence, and it states by the Treasury that anytime a gift is given to the federal government, it is termed as a gift to the United States of America, and it is up to the Congress or up to whoever that's over that financial committee, and I believe Maxine Waters is over that mess. Maybe I'm wrong. That monies can be allocated to anyone. And whether you like it or not, you got to do things right. And if you're not going to do things right, don't do it at all. Now, here's my last part of this. I keep saying this to you over and over again in videos. Now, I might have to continue to say this. Just because President Trump doesn't do things the way some of you like it, when you want it, how you think it should be, just because sometimes he's in the middle of negotiation, it look like he's going back on his promise. If you don't have faith in your leader, you need to rethink whose side you're on. Because let me tell you something about liberals. Most of the time, liberals are very finicky. They're wishy-washy. But then they also have liberals on that side that are Democratic. They're Democrats to the day they die. You can't tell them nothing. That's the same true with conservatives. We have many people that have walked away from the Democratic Party and came over here. And some of you know better. You're seasoned conservatives. You are the bigger brother and the bigger sister to those new people. And if every single time something doesn't go our way, that you're going to get up there and post that President Trump didn't keep his word about the wall. I'm not voting for him 2020. President Trump, this and that, this and that. How do you think that looks to the people that are coming over here that were willing to walk away, not some months being in it, I'm talking about years being a Democrat, and they're looking for some type of organization, some type of solid faith foundation, some type of motivation that their decision is correct. Now, like I said again, either you're in or you're out. It doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter what people do. Either you're in or you're out. And you have to make that decision for yourself. You have some people that are on here right now that are on the social media that create these wonderful pages about how much they support Trump. They'll come with a comment about Trump and say good things, but they're in the lurch. They're actually pretending because they're waiting for that one hit, that one miss that President Trump didn't do at the time that everybody wanted it. And so what that person does that pretends to be a Trump supporter is the first thing they say is, wow, Trump is a con. President Trump did not deliver on the wall. President Trump gave all this money to these different countries. Why did he back up on his word? And then they have some of you starting to doubt, starting to question, starting to get angry. And then you go off with another page and say, you know what, I'm not voting for him 2020. Listen, every leader is human. And you can't go into this level of business. I'm talking about this level of politics. He is the president of the United States. He's got to deal with some deep-rooted, deep-seated mess. And let me tell you something. It's easy to make a mess, but it's hard to clean it up because it takes time to clean it up. Because you got to undo some things that go deep, deep, deep. It's almost like the root is so deep, it's hard to pull it out from the ground. We as a people have to understand some things are about patience. A farmer is a great example of that. See, when he looks at a barren land, all he sees the end result in his mind, the vision that this is going to produce crops. He sees the end. But he also knows that in order to go from A to B, he has to look at what is it now? Where is it? How is it stand? The land is plain. So now he goes and he gets his seeds, and he sees this really tiny seed that one day will turn into crops: corn, okra, green beans, tomatoes. One day that seed, if it's nourished right, if the process is done correctly, will not only produce one, but more than one, but a multitude of crops. A farmer has great faith. They see the end result. We must think like a farmer. We must think and believe like a farmer, and understand that just because something don't go our way today, that don't mean you jump ship and say, well, forget it. That doesn't mean you throw in the towel. Because I said it to you earlier. I said it in the post. God will test your faith. God will try your faith. And it is a constant. It is not some seasonal thing. It is day in and day out. You're going to be tried. Now, the choice is yours. You either in it for the long haul or you're out. And frankly, I'm going to be very transparent with you. If you're not in it for the long haul and you are on my page, get off my page and go back to becoming a Democrat or a liberal. If you claim you were never one, then go join their little hoop-de-doo party. Because at the end of the day, I don't need junk and residue spirits. Because a person that has a spirit of junk, all they take in is trash. They take in fake news. They take in lies. Their minds go this back and forth. They're not solid. They haven't looked at the land and say, you know what, this land is going to produce crops. They didn't look at that land and say, okay, sometimes it's going to rain. Sometimes I'm going to have to check on the soil. Sometimes I'm going to have to make sure I tilt it. Sometimes I'm going to have to make sure that the crops are growing. Sometimes I may have rabbits or other little critters go in there and eat up the crop before I can harvest it. That happens. We're going to have bumps in the road. Now, either you in or you out. And what prompted this thing going on with this the GoFund Build the Wall is the initiative like this. We already recognize that we have people in Congress that are a deep state. They're afraid of everything. And some of them don't even know a lick of business. So when they're talking to President Trump, it's like it's going in one ear and out the other. Their brain is not comprehending. Literally, they're not comprehending business. I said in a Twitter post, I said the best thing President Trump could do is send an autographed copy of Think Big and the Art of the Deal to every single one of the Congress people, because their mindset is always afraid of, what if I lose my job and I don't get this six-figure income? Or some of them look at it as a God complex, and they feel like, well, because I got this kind of power, I can do this and I can do that. And it's become deep-rooted and has become deep-seated. What this GoFundMe campaign did that was a very positive is that it took it back from the Congress and put it in the hands of the people. And I'm gonna say the bad of that is it's unfortunate, because the people that's supposed to be in Congress is supposed to be able to speak our voice, and we should be heard through them. However, for some reason it is becoming a breakdown. But the millions and millions of dollars that was raised not even in a week, the passion that was supported by him, kudos to each and every one of you. We got on accord, but what happened was we didn't make sure that the foundation was solid. We have to understand, we are governed most of the time and controlled most of the time by a lot of, and I hate to say it, liberal and democratic channels. Do you understand me? You got some deep state going on up in the Congress, and some of the Republicans are caught up And when we know that our enemy is looking for holes, looking for pitfalls, looking for ways that they can take you down, we have to be on our cue. So I hope with the GoFundMe for the Build a Wall that it does happen. But I'm asking each and every one of you, you know you have the expertise. If you know you're a congressman or a leader and you know that Constitution, rules, and regulations inside out, help not only President Trump, but help the people here so that those monies can be appropriately used to build the wall. Do not, some of you are taking consolation prizes. Do you know what I mean by consolation prizes? You get up there and you're telling me, well, some of the money is going to be going to this charity or that charity, and you're just letting them do it. No, that's no. You need to stand firm. Don't wave in the wind and then you get mad because you left our president hanging. Don't leave the president hanging like that. Let your Congress know, look, I donated for the wall. Y'all act like you didn't want to give up off no money. You're saying that you ain't, first of all, say you didn't have any money. Then you say you don't want to give off the money. Then you say we don't need a wall. Well, you know what? Since you're not representing my voice, here's the money. We'll do it ourselves. We want to contribute. But we have to have people. We have to have a task force. It can't be one person over all that money. It has to be several people that are qualified and experienced, that knows the law, that knows the regulations, knows the Constitution. You have congressmen that can present a bill and see where we can work that out. Do you understand? Because people will say, well, that's okay. Well, we're donating to the U.S. fund. But here's my thing about it. Wouldn't you like to know where they putting your money? And I feel that even if they say, well, in this general statement that, oh, they can use it for the general fund of the U.S. or they can use this money for the budget or whatever, you still need to know where your money goes. Every time you spend something, every time you get something to eat, every time you go somewhere, you know where your money go, right? You know about your bills. You know how much money you got to pay. So why would you be so laxadaddle about that? And I had someone that me and them, we're kind of crossing up on each other because they start throwing all these little articles and policies and things that people could pass to encourage that the money for the build a wall could be done. And I said to them, I said, well, if you knew all this, why did you not research, share, and encourage and help people to make sure they're going in the right process? Because sometimes people say, well, I get the money together. They'll just take the money and the proceeds and give it up there to the wall. But not one person, people that knew better. Yes, I'm going to say it. Some of you knew better and you idly stood by. You didn't even write a word. You didn't put a post. You didn't say anything. Because the first thing you want to say is, well, they're going to get an attitude of me. They're going to think I'm a know-it-all. Or they're going to think that this and that. Let me tell you something. People are going to talk about you whether you do good or bad. The point of the matter is you got to work on planting the seed and quit worrying about always taking the credit. Just focus on the purpose and what we're doing. God will bless the rest. So I will say this. There's good and bad to this. Brian, I commend you for starting this. Nobody expect you to know that business side of it. Nobody expect you to know the Constitution side, but there are people that sit right up there and watch you on TV, that sit right up there on the social media, and they knew better, and shame on you. And yes, I'm going to say it, if you did not lift a hand when God was touching your spirit to say, maybe you should say this, maybe you should done that, maybe you should share this. Shame on you when you don't hearken and listen to the Spirit of the Lord, and you let that young man and you let a lot of people go out there and they're thinking that this is going to make a difference, and now they got to look at it and it's all up in the air right now. in terms of the Congress, it sent a message to them. It lets them know. See, they're trying to come out in media saying most people don't want the wall. Who is most Americans? Who is most people? Because I see thousands and hundreds of thousands of people that donated, and that thing turned into millions and almost billions and millions of dollars overnight. So don't tell me that a lot of people don't want the wall unless you can show me real true data and you can quote where you got your survey from or wherever you got your data from to say that. But if you're just writing an article because it's based on your opinion, and it seems to be the thing that's going on with journalists and social media now, is instead of them reporting neutral facts, instead of them reporting things in a neutral status, instead of them just giving us the facts and ABC 1, 2, 3 of it, they want to go and give us a commentary about how they feel and what they think and how, whether or not they like their president or not. And to me, that is crossing the line. If you're going to do that, become a talk show, but don't sit up here and talk about you the news when all you doing is reporting gossip and your own personal opinion. That's a talk show. You getting it mixed up. You can't sit here and tell me you are the news and you throwing your opinions out there and it's not facts. And if you're going to report the news, report all the truth. Don't pick over stuff such as every time that Trump is doing something for the minorities and blacks in the community, every time that Trump had the Blexit or the black what is it, the black organization or Congress or whatever they had, the first part of this a couple of months ago, oh no, you didn't want to report that. Y'all had a blackout on that. Oh, you didn't want to do that. And see, let me tell you something. Anytime someone does something like that, now you have violated the right of freedom of speech. Now you have violated what you're supposed to stand for, which is about equality. Instead of reporting about the passion of people and how they want the wall and the reality of the wall, the first thing you want to do is say most Americans don't want that. That's your opinion. You don't have no facts. Show me some facts or shut up. People are getting tired of that. But I'm going to wrap this up to say this to each and every one of you. I'm praying for each and every one of you to hold your faith. And before something bad happens or something does not go our way, listen to me very, very carefully. Be cool. Because every single time when we're cool and we don't react to their foolishness, that's when the good starts to come through. You never let an enemy see you to the point publicly so vulnerable that they know that whatever they can push your buttons in, it will send you all crazy. Be cool. When they aim low, we go high. I know y'all ain't like that because it came from somebody. But you know what? I can even use my enemy's words. But at the end of the day, learn to have faith in our president. And the one thing I always pay attention to, and I'm gonna tell you something, this is how I know when I'm unfriending you, blocking you, I'm not gonna fool with you. Is I'm gonna listen to how you react to something that you feel that President Trump failed in. You feel impatient about, you feel frustrated about. Because what that tells me is if you're quick to jump ship, you're quick to betray anybody around you. And you can sit here and ask me, well, why don't you think? Don't you think this? Don't you think he should do that? How you feel about that? He's taking too long. He made promises and this and that. And I'm going to tell you, I don't care. Because I think as the farmer, I know that sometimes they may be a harsh storm and they may ruin my crops. But that don't stop me from farming. That don't stop me from going back in there and producing them again. Because I know that storms are not every day. I know that failures are what you consider failures, or successes that haven't happened, are not every day. We have a season. It can rain, it can be sunny, it can be cold, it can be dry. But until you learn how to stand still, you will never see the goodness of the Lord. Just like, I'll give you the final example. Wherever your house is, wherever apartment you are, wherever place you are, you trust that dwelling, that place, whether it's raining, whether it's storming, whether it's sunny, whether there's a hurricane, you trust that dwelling to a point. Unless the government or something is said otherwise, to protect you from all forms of weather. You trust that. When you close the door, you in the house. That means it shouldn't be raining inside your house. When you close the door, you trust that 100 or 110 degrees does not come through your house and sweat you out. You trust that when there's a hurricane and the water may rise up around on the road, but your house, the dwelling that you is inside is still dry. So if you can trust in season and out of season, have faith in your leadership. A reason why I'm gonna say that, I keep saying I'm gonna say this final thing, but I'm gonna tell you something the Spirit just told me. The reason why a lot of our leaders fall for everything, reason why some of our leaders are caught up in deep state, some of them are caught up in making decisions that they kind of don't want to do, but they just do it anyhow to go along with the quote status quo, is because we're not praying for our leaders. We're not blessing our leaders. Whether we like them or not, you want to pray for your leaders. You want to bless those that have the power to make laws and rules and regulations. You want to keep them encouraged and remind them of their purpose. You pray for them. But when they don't have no prayer, when President Trump doesn't have real support, guess what? It becomes a malnourishment of faith. And when there's a malnourishment of faith, then the sickness of doubt will come in, and it will go into and all the way down into your bones. And it will rot and make itself stink and corrupt and destroy everything within. So you have to say, I voted for him. Whether this decision is good in my opinion, whether I think this decision is bad, in season, out of season, I'm going to have the faith. I don't expect him to be perfect. I don't expect his administration to be perfect. Heck, I don't expect anybody to be perfect. But I have to make a choice. Either I'm in it or I'm out. And if I'm in it, I take the good with the bad and the up and the down and around and around. I'm still in it. I may not can't see the ending result, but God says, I don't bless people for their works. He says, I bless them for the faith in their works. I bless them for their heart, and their heart produces the fruit that we see. So we either going to get on board or don't. And if you don't want to hear from me no more, that's fine too. But I'm not going to change my decision. I made a choice. I'm standing by President Trump. I love President Trump. I love all our leaders. I don't have to agree with every leader, but I love them. And I will stand, and I'm going to continue to pray for them, because there's always a bigger enemy than the enemy that we live with here in the United States soul. So God bless each and every one of you. Be encouraged and understand, like I said, America first. You have the right to know where your money going. You have the right to open your mouth and say, I want my money to go to the wall. You have that right. You have the right to say, you know what, we want to do this the right way. We want to make sure. I don't care. Listen, if this thing go in litigation for 4 months, 5 months, 2 years, 20 years, stay in it, in season and out of season. And don't waver. God blesses those who are faithful. So remember, America first. You are first now. You have the right to take care and to be proud of the soil that you put your feet on. You have the right to want the best, to have the best, and not struggle. When we have gotten ourselves taken care of, then we can reach out and bless everyone else. But right now, we can't pretend to say we got it together and we got all this power and we're bringing people in from different countries and we're sitting here stepping over people that of our own Americans, our own brothers and sisters that are sleeping out in the street, that are jobless, homeless, that are being molested, that are being mistreated in the system, and sit here and say that is what America is about. We are not about that. So America first. And you have the right to be happy. You have the right to say, you know what? I want to know what it's like to choose the opportunities that I have and not feel as if that when someone else comes in, they take my spot and they have not followed the rules and regulations for it. See, you got to understand. This GoFundMe is a perfect example of how the liberals and how people will use the law and the regulations when you're trying to do something for the betterment of America. Now, they want to complain about the GoFundMe refund, the GoFundMe account, and say that they got rules and regulations that they're going to follow. But yet, they want you out of the same mouth to say it's okay for any and everybody to come in here and say, screw you, Constitution, screw you becoming a citizen, and that we're just supposed to lay down and die and take it. Do you think that's fair to you or anybody else? Absolutely not. And you now deserve that right. You deserve the right to say, hey, you want to put my money in something different? You're going to let me know. I voted you in. You didn't vote me in. You have the right to know everything what's going on. You have the right to be informed. If we thought that that money was going to go straight to the wall and to find out it's going to a general fund, you have the right to know where your money going. And are you comfortable with it? Do you want your money to go there? You may want to pull your money back. That don't make you no less than a person if you don't want to help in certain other organizations, because we already seen the more money we gave in different organizations, seem like the less money they have. I don't know what's going on with that. So you have the right to choose. And we got to have enough sense to know the difference. So number one, I'm going to wrap this up. The GoFundMe, it brought out the patriotism and the strength and the unity of the people. Do not be fooled by these wicked people that's trying to lie and tell you that nobody else wants the wall. That is not true. Some people ain't got it to give, but they have their heart to give. And that counts far more than sometimes the monetary gifts that people give. Number two, we got to get smarter about how we go about this GoFundMe and how we go about these different types of initiatives. And we have to utilize the resources of people that know, that are experts. And it can't be about me. It can't be about you. It can't be about who gets the credit. You know, I say what I said only for the fact that when I brought it up about us doing that, I was obligated to join my brother because he enacted it. And I want Brian to have that credit. It is what it is. I'm not caring about who gets the credit, who's not. What I'm caring about is your future, our children's future, our grandchildren's children, and children's children, the generations to go forth. So let's get smart about it. Let's take our time, slow down, and let's win. Let's be in it to win it. And number three, President Trump is going to continue to do stuff that's going to piss some of you off. But you got to be mindful of your mouth. You got to be mindful of that fiery tongue. You got to be mindful of those fiery fingertips and those thoughts that come out of your mouth and out of your mind, and you write it up there on social media. We are not here to magnify the liberals. We're not here to magnify the Democrats. We're not here to magnify the socialists or the communists. We're here to magnify America. And if for any reason you just truly don't believe in that anymore, leave. You got people that have been trying to apply for citizenship. Revoke your citizenship and let them take your spot and let them do what needs to be done. It's a shame that we have people that have been waiting for years, and we got some sorry behind folks that are American citizens that won't even get off their tail and vote, but yet they got plenty of time to complain and talk about how negative everything is. So make a decision. You in or you out. And if you're going to be in it to win it. I've been hearing this, another little end, I'm going to say this, about people that will say, well, I don't have no political affiliation. I like some of what the Democrat says, and I like some of what the Republicans say, and I like some of what that person says. No, you do have a choice. It's just the one that has more of the principles and the morals and the thought processes that are similar to what you believe in is the one you tend to lean to. It is what it is. You can't sit here and say you straddling the fence and you can be in the middle of the fence. After a while, something's going to give up. So we got to get smarter. Number 3, let's continue to have faith in our president. That's through having faith, first of all, in God, and keeping and praying. And even though we may not see it, just like the farmer when he starts to seeds on the ground, even though we may not see the end result in 24 hours, let us wait. Let us be patient. He is working hard. We got leaders that are working hard. Shame on some of these leaders that jumped ship because they came in this tired and they let certain enemies in their mind and their spirit and they gave up. Be in it to win it. And we got to quit trying to be chiefs. Sometimes it's better to give up being a leader and learning how to follow. You'll learn more than to always be the leader and then turn around and criticize everybody else. We got to learn how to shift. We got to learn to move as an organization, as an organism, as a force that no one can penetrate. And finally, I want everybody to understand, you got people on your social media, you got people wherever you are connected with, that are what I call fake supporters. When you find them out, you got 2 decisions to make. You can sit there and listen to that snake long enough if you want, that spirit of the snake. Or you can just unfriend them, move on, and keep yourself nourished. Because if you start listening to negativity, that darkness will enter inside your body, inside your spirit, and it will cause a malnourishment inside your mind and your heart. So you have to decide, in or out. Let's continue to pray for each other. Pray for our leadership. Pray for our president. Don't badmouth him. Pray for him. Whether you voted for him or not, pray for him. Because it may be a decision that come up that will depend on our very lives. And if you're cursing your leaders, you're cursing yourselves. So let's pray for each other. God bless my wonderful patriot brothers and sisters. Hold up the fight and stay strong. And remember, and I have to, listen to me, I'm telling you this stuff for myself. Our words can either build us up or tear us down. The choice is us. God bless each and every one of you. I will definitely talk with all of you soon. Take care.